Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And right now we have got some stuff tore down. We've got the drill press tore apart. And it is homeless again. So we got to put it back in its old home. But we got to do a bunch of modifications. And what we've got to do is we're going to have to take that drawer back out and put it somewhere else, move the grinder. Then we've got to take this and lower it down to about right there at the bottom of the drawer, to where this is at the bottom. So we just want to bring this down to here. And the reason we're doing that is I'll show you what I'm doing. Look what I got. I got a mill slash lathe. I spent all night last night. Right now it's about 6:30 in the morning, and I went to bed for about a half hour, couldn't sleep, so I got back up. But I went and cleaned this thing up and polished it all up nice and pretty, and I'll show you some pictures of it before, probably right now. Alright, now that we are back, I've cleaned everything up and cleaned the motor up, cleaned all the chrome up, took that apart, put all new grease in it, cleaned up the chrome there. I'm telling you, this thing looks like a brand spanking new one now. The only difference is this thing here, it was pretty rough. And the reason it was pretty rough, and I'll show you here, is, well, let me go over what it is here. This is a multi-purpose machine center, central machinery, which is Harbor Freight. SKU number t5980, and made in China. Now, one thing I noticed about this is the forward and reverse is opposite. It's not opposite with the switch, but it's opposite with the label. See, that says it's spinning in that direction, and it's not when it's spinning in this direction when this switch is over here. So these here should have been reversed, but that's fine. But I cleaned her up real nice. I had to bring it in here in 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces, and I found that on Craigslist, and here's what the waves looked like. And what that is the original grease, that stuff that they put on machines to ship them, was never taken off, and caused it to gum up to the point where it didn't hardly move. I had the devil of the time getting this cross slide to move back and forth on the waves, because it still had all the original stuff on it, and it's pretty much molded itself to the metal, so we're going to have a hard time cleaning this bad boy up. And I can make all those look brand new again, all this stuff. And then we got the tailstock, and that'll all be cleaned up. And then here's your extra wide slides. As you can see, that caked up stuff right there, that's what was in it, and it wouldn't hardly move. So we're going to clean this bad boy up. And then we got the lead screw, and that chrome arrow will look all nice and pretty when I'm done with it. And the lead screw will be all cleaned up and shiny. And then we've got a 3-jaw chuck, and that'll have to be taken apart and probably put in, take the set screws out of it and put it in my 4-jaw or my 3-jaw chuck on my lathe after I take all these pieces out, put it together, and then take emery cloth and clean that up. So we will be working on this today. Now, I'm not going to show all the cleaning process. If I get to a point where I need to show something, I'll show it, and we'll go from there. But there's a lot of I don't know if that can be adjusted out. I believe it can, because this has got a set screw and a set nut and a regular or another nut, so you might be able to adjust most of that out. But I'll bet you it's been a long time since they've had grease down in them fittings. Now, this machine, from what I can tell, is only 10 years old. Unless Harbor Freight, because Central Machinery has one, I mean, not Central Machinery, but Northern Tools has the same version, but theirs is red. And, well, yeah, this one is 10 years old because the date on it right there says 2006. 6th month of 2006. So, this is 10 years old. I thought it was 3 years old, but I'd be wrong. And it works really good. I just now found out what this was for. That is for locking the dial in so that you can advance it. But I got to figure out what each mark stands for, because if I turn that, it can't be in thousandths, because right there is center to 0. Alright, if I go another mark, that's more than 1/1000th. That chuck comes down further than 1/1000th. So let's do that while I'm looking at the chuck. Right there is 0. Let's see if I can rest my arm so I don't shake so much. That is 1/1000th. If that's in thousandths increments, which I'm almost sure it is. So, anyway, let's give her a test run here. Belts are like brand new. Alright, that's the mill. Now here is the lathe. Now there's 2 separate motors. You have the motor there for the lathe. Then you've got a motor right there behind that screen for the mill. Alright, that's coming in this direction. And then you stop it, and then that is in reverse. It is now going in that direction. And I like the chrome touch. There's a lot of good chrome on this, and it cleaned up really nice, because believe it or not, all this looked exactly like the weight or the cross slide looks now. This here looked just like the cross slide. Yeah, it's got a couple little dings in it, but them little dings are just, they're minute. I'm going to stone this one more time with some 3-in-1 oil. And what I was using was, I have a fine grit stone, and then I've got a coarse grit. And I don't need coarse grit no more, because now I've got the worst part off of it. So basically what I was just doing was just laying that stone on there and just traveling back and forth the whole way. And you don't want to get it crooked like I just did. And I'm not pushing real hard, I'm just letting the stone do the job. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Now, I think I'm going to stop there, because you can tell from the edge right here over to here is nice and shiny where that stone was hitting, and it's even all the way across there. And the same thing on this side. So it's pretty straight. Same thing here. And the same thing here. So basically what we have is ways that are going this way, not this way. So I think I can live with that. And so now all we got to do is put the or clean up these parts here. And as you can see how dirty that thing is right there? All that. This one over here looks just as bad. It looks pretty daggone good. Nice and pretty, like it's brand new. And the chuck in this part was in bad shape. And I got to get a wedge for it. And this is the wedge type. And it's got a drawbar that takes a, if I ain't mistaken, number 2 here, number 2 Morse taper, and number 3 Morse taper on the tailstock. I'm pretty certain that's the way it is, but I could be wrong. But that there's what it all looked like. So all this has got to be cleaned up and put back on the lathe. So I'll just leave that out. So we're going to go ahead and get some cleaning done on this, and if I find something that you want to see, or I think you want to see, I will be glad to show you what I'm doing. Till then. Alright, so now we've cleaned up a bunch of parts, and I'll show you what we've gotten so far. We have the compound on, works nice and smooth, and the cross slide works pretty smooth. When I first got this, you could not move this. You had to crank on this thing to get it to move, because of all that stuff that's on this chuck. as you can see, this chuck should look like, well, let's find something here. Should look something like that right there. Nice and metal looking. But anyway, I went off and I was so excited about getting the, let me put you back on the tripod here. In the right place here. The only bad thing about this is I can't see where I'm at. Alright, I'm there. So, now we're going to clean this up. But I wanted to take a moment. I went and got another SJ cam, and yes, it's not a SJ cam brand. Can't remember what he said the name of it was, or the name of their company. He just called me, and that's why I'm doing this review, because I was really impressed that this guy took his time out of his busy schedule, which sounds like he's got a busy schedule, and I had a few complaints, and I was under the assumption that this guy was just like all the rest of them, so naturally I was already on the defensive before I even needed to be. And that's understandable. Anybody can do that. But he called me and reassured me that, you know, he will help me out with this, and he's going to send me another packet with the clip. That little clip that holds the SJ cam, it doesn't hold in like it should. So I had to use a different one on this one, my old one, because it faces down and the camera kept falling out or trying to work its way out of the other one. So just from the weight of the camera. So it was really flimsy. So he's going to send me a whole new packet of the hardware that comes with this camera. And I told him I would mention him in a review, and I'll put his, what's going on out here? And I'll put his link to his eBay site. Now the firmware on this camera is a little different than what I'm used to and what most people are used to. This one, when you save a video, it goes into video. When you save a picture, it goes into picture. But then when you take a picture, I guess, in your car, you can choose to put it in your car. So it's got car, video, and picture. So I think that's how it goes. It could just be car and video. But it takes a little time getting used to, and I'll show you the link where I got this. And then I've also got a actual true SJ cam on the way too. Yes, I couldn't afford it, but I need to be able to do videos a little better than what I have in the last video I done. So we're going to get started cleaning this up, and basically what I'm doing is I'm taking steel wool, real fine steel wool that's got wires in it from a wire brush. It's coming apart. Boy, things don't stay together very good, do they? And I need to refresh my gas, but I'm using oil gas, chainsaw gas, because it's got an oil in it. And it's not as abrasive as regular gas. So I just basically, dip that into the gas, and then I'll take that steel wool and go around, and I'll show you the difference. As you can see, looks nice and pretty here, brown there. Alright, let's do this spot right here and I'll show you what it looks like. And there you have brown here, nice and shiny and smooth right here. So, but I'm going to take this clear apart. I just wanted to show you the process. So I'm going to take it clear apart, clean this up, take all this stuff out, everything, and I hope I can get it back together the way it should be. I didn't have no problem with the Atlas, so I should be alright. I'm getting reverse jaws for this. I went off and forgot all the hardware or tools and hardware, and because I was so excited about getting the mill to begin with that I had plumb forgot about my tools. I didn't get the chuck key that goes to this, the collet, the vice table that he built, and so I called him or texted him or emailed him, and he said that he would bring them to me. So Wednesday or Thursday I should have that. But I'm not going to clean this up on camera because I'm just doing the same thing I just did right then. So stay tuned. Alrighty, we've got it, the tailstock back on it, and got everything back together, and I've already turned some aluminum here just to test it out, and it turned out pretty. I mean, it's somewhat smooth, but to be honest with you, I really don't know how to grind these tools down, so it's probably the tool or the blade. I'm not very good at that, so that's why I always pick the ones that's got the inserts, because I don't have to grind them. But anyway, it seemed to do pretty good. It's nice and smooth. It's not hanging up anywhere. Now, there's a few little places that I need to address, like right there. You can see where it's kind of messed up, and I'm going to try to take that down to where it's bare like that and just oil it. So, I don't have a tripod set up here, so not sure how I'm going to do a video of this. What I need to do is put me another thing right here somewhere that comes down so I can put a camera on it. In order to do that, I'm going to have to do Wi-Fi on my phone so I can actually see what's going on, because I can't actually get up in the corner there to see the screen to see if it's in focus or in the shot. So basically what we're going to be doing, I'm going to make me some more of these things. This is what I use for the bench, and it's just a pole there. This thing has a turn knob on the back that you loosen and raise it up and down. And I got another one over here at the lathe that will actually slide back and forth on that track. And I'd like to find me another track like that, longer, so that I can run one from the edge of that board all the way across, all the way down to here, to this wall. That way I'm pretty flexible as to what I can do with my camera. I can move it over here to the bandsaw, which is covered up right at the moment. I can, slide it anywhere I want in the shop. But there's the mess. Big old mess. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this lathe and mill is on the lathe part. Of course, this is just one thing that I don't like. I'm sure I'll find others. When you go to unscrew the chuck off of it, you have to take this panel off to hold this pulley so you can actually unscrew this off of the headstock. So, they didn't put a place where you can put a rod in it to break your chuck loose. So there's no stopping or lock to lock it so that you can do that. I haven't found one yet, so there's not one on it. So the only way to actually unscrew that chuck is to take this panel off, and I don't like doing that. It's just aggravating to have to keep taking that panel off when you change your chuck. Of course, I'm not going to be changing my chuck every 10 minutes either, so maybe I'll get used to it. I don't know. All the lockdowns work. I'm actually impressed with it. I'm not a big fan of Harbor Freight, and I don't believe I ever will be a fan of Harbor Freight. But there you have the mill drill, and this head will spin all the way around and lock into place. And I'm almost certain it's probably got 2 or 3 notches in there. So let's just find that out right now. Squeeze that in there a little bit. It's barely touching. Let's see if this thing has a different notch. Nope, just the one. Yep, just the one. Unless there's one over here. Yep, right there's one, but you'll never get it to turn. So there's really only one latch hole in there on the shaft. So I like it. And man, I got chips all up there too. So there you have a cleanup. It's not really a restore, it's just a cleanup, because if I was restoring it, I would have sanded all of it down and repainted it. And the paint's in such good shape. There's a few places that's a little messed up, like you got a rust spot here, you got a little chip here and there, but it's going to be working. It's a work in progress, and it's not like I'm going to be sitting here polishing it every single day. However, it might be polished every month, but like I do my lathe. Yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to show you on this that I couldn't figure out why they done this. You notice this lead screw has a tit on the end of it, but there's nothing here to keep that from flexing. So I'm wondering why they didn't put that on there, and wondering if that's something that I should try to put on it. The only problem with doing that is, well, I guess it would work out, because if you take this here nut all the way up to here, then it's basically going to be centered. It's a good possibility I could probably make a bracket right here if it's necessary. I'm not sure if it's necessary to make a bracket to bolt on here that has a bushing that this goes into. Because the nut doesn't go past that point right there anyway. So, I mean, yes, that's a nitpick. That's a nitpick thing. other than that, I think this is going to make a pretty nice milling machine. And I can't put my cross table on it, which I don't really need to. And I can put my vise on there, but I have no flexibility with it because it's just not enough room for that big old milling vise. So I would imagine that milling vise is probably going to stay on the drill press. So let me go ahead and get this thing uh, uploaded for you guys so you can see what addition the Bison Workshop finally got. So apparently it won't be on my deathbed when I get one. So if anybody remember that one. So you guys have a good one. Later.